Okay, let's see if I know how to do this. How do I... Hold on. If I go to Twitch, I need to tell the people on YouTube that I exist, or on Discord that I exist. Because they need to see my illegal building technique. Okay, so showing off some illegal map making techniques. Cool. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's my plan for today. So I actually have a plan for once. So there I was moseying my way through how the levels in this game are saved, and I found some very interesting little quirks. Because I was like, I make games, so I was like, how do I save the tile data in a way that makes sense, right? And this is how, right? So if you'll notice up in the top left, there's some weirdness already with I am become buggos. Let's see. So I'm just gonna hit play. I'm gonna hit play, and we're gonna see. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So I think I might have found the most interesting little quirk for map making that I wish I had found, like, I think years ago now, right? Because Buggos has been out for a little bit. Um, this is very powerful. Um, so let's see. So you'll notice there's these human walls, right? But what's this? Why are my bugs not attacking anything? How did I place these buildings onto the void? Oh my goodness, what's going on? What's happened? Oh my gosh. So this is what I want to explore today, right? Is we're going to I'll show you. I'll show you. Hold on. There is no hold on. So we're gonna go to custom levels. So I've made quite a few maps. Unfortunately, I didn't know this existed when I made, where is it? E623, these guys? In my head, in my vision for what I wanted, right? I didn't want all this sand. You can see where, like, I wanted the walls and stuff to be outlined with these human things, but unfortunately, I didn't know about this little quirk. So your bugs just spend like half the game attacking the walls, right? So we're gonna rectify this. We're gonna do a little bit of funkiness with some maps, and I'm gonna show you guys a little thing I stumbled upon in my quest to completely break this game. So we're just gonna go ahead and load up a new map, and we're gonna make a large map. I should probably make sure that I'm actually streaming real quick, because I haven't streamed in a long time, and I probably have messed up OBS. I spent like half an hour fiddling with it. I am actually live. Cool. Okay, so what we're gonna do. The very first thing is whenever you're using this illegal technique or whatever, right? The very first thing you need to do is figure out where you want the level bounds to be. We're going to ignore the sand. The sand doesn't matter. It can be here, it cannot be here, who cares? All we care about right now is knowing how we want the bounding boxes of the map to be. And this is going to be really, really important. So, what we're going to do is, so I think what I want is, I think the way we want this map to flow, and this is quite a large map. The way we want this map to flow, I think I want maybe the buggos to be, you know what? I'm gonna put them right up against one of the human bases just because I can. Because I like making people nervous. So this is gonna be something like this, right? Where we're gonna have a human base somewhere. Oh, I forget what these guys do. I haven't played in so long, I've forgotten what this does. We're just gonna place that down and hope it doesn't do anything crazy. So we're gonna do that. This is 2 away from there, so we'll just continue that. So importantly, when you're making maps, the AI in this game really enjoys wide tunnels. And also, we can do some funkiness like this, right? Where if I I play with this a little bit in other maps. This is my favorite thing to do, is manipulating the AI in a way that it acts smarter than it necessarily is. So like here, for example, unless it's got patched out, if humans spawn in here, which I don't actually know what this building does, maybe it doesn't spawn anything, but if humans spawn here, they will see there's a valid tile. They'll be here, they'll see a valid tile here, and they will path all the way around like through a maze to get to these tiles. And that gives me a sort of toggle I can use to artificially increase the difficulty of a map without actually doing anything crazy. So we're gonna do that. It's my favorite thing to do when I'm making maps. So we are going to do something. You know what we're gonna do actually? I want one here. I want another Buggo hive down here somewhere, just so the player has to constantly juggle what's going on, and it's like really overwhelming. Because I can. So we're gonna do that. We're going to, what's this gonna do? So here we're gonna funnel the player on this area. We're gonna funnel the player this way. And you know what I just realized? I have a bangin' playlist. Why is nothing playing? Please? Is it there we go. That was the end of a song. Oops. Right. So we're gonna do this, right? And remember, we are going to be doing some illegal things, right? So what we're gonna do is we have our human walls, right? This is what we're gonna turn the terrain into afterwards. So the way humans build, in my headcanon, is quite straight and inorganic, right? So we're gonna mirror that here. And what I want is the Buggos to we don't care about measurements now. Come on. I'm over that. Who needs measurements? Who needs perfection? Not me. So an important thing to note, right, is when you're doing this, so the walls are going to be, there's a lot of things, this is really powerful. I'll show you guys in a second. When we're doing this, the walls are going to be these blue human ones, right? So if I place down the blue human walls within the editor, right? The bugs see this, they want to attack it, whatever else, right? And that can lead to some issues, right? Where like players don't know which walls are and aren't destructible. So you can use that in some instances, like for false walls, which I might do later on, just to be a little spicy. But for now, what I'm going to do, instead of using these walls, we're going to go down here, and I'm just going to place a wall of those instead, and that's going to be fine. And oh, how do we want to do this? I like landmines. This is established. Landmines are neat. We're just gonna put some landmines in there, and also we're going to put, I don't know, put like a base, right? So importantly, whenever you're doing this, right? Oh, I forgot about that bug. We can't place anything here because it doesn't realize that the building was deleted. So hopefully that's patched in the second Buggos game, which I am very excited to break as well. So we'll just remember here is meant to be a human hideout thing, right? Or no, hold on. We actually need to fix this now, and I'll show you why in a second. So what are we gonna call this map? We're just gonna call this like illegal_2. You can see where I've already got one map, but we're going to make that illegal_2. Now we need to load that map in, so that way we can actually edit things again. So here is this. We can finally place that. And then, so here's where we're going to get tricky. We're going to get a little bit tricksy with it. The player is going to think that this is a solid wall, right? Because everything else is going to be solid. They'll think this is also solid. No, they won't. Because this is going to look weird. I'm kind of doing this on the fly. If we really wanted to fuck with them, what we could do, I think we could replace the human walls with these meat walls. but I don't remember exactly how it saves in. Oh well, we'll leave it. It'll be fine. So we want the player to, they're gonna go through here, a little trial thing. Now this right here, we want like a sort of auxiliary pathway along the entire side of the map, I think, right? And this is going to let the player easily go in and access different parts of the map as they need to. And I think right here, what we want to do is maybe a little something kind of like this, right? So we're gonna run this wall all the way down the side of the map because I can. Uh, and then what we're gonna do, we're going to, I don't care. I keep trying to measure these because I'm such a little perfectionist. We're not gonna do that. I want this to be not as perfectionist. So, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something like this, right? Where we have maybe some solar panel. Hello, please. Some solar panels in here, and also maybe. So interestingly, an issue. I believe this is still the case. If we place these guys down, they will damage a defender or a spiner, and then that will cause a retaliatory strike where the defenders will be able to shoot through the walls at these. That's how it was the last time I played. So we might just have to leave that be. And you know what? Off the back of that, what I might do... You know what? No, we'll leave it. It'll be fine. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab this terrain. I am doing like a million calculations per second right now. Sorry. What we're gonna do... So we want... What do we want? We want this, right? To be quite square, quite boxy. And the rationale for that is that... What is the rationale for that? We don't have a rationale. It's because I want to. That's the rationale. So what we're gonna do, we're going to put a whack ton of these human bases inside of here, right? And this is gonna cause some panic. This is gonna cause some panic amongst the player, who is gonna be like, "Oh, I have just opened the gates of hell," and they have, and they should feel bad. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna open these down. At some point, I'm gonna need to figure out how I want this to open. So, like for instance, I might want to open it like here, for example, a little bottom hallway. And this is just going to trap a whole bunch of humans inside of here. And whenever the player manages through here, their bugs will auto-attack these walls and release the humans out. And I think that's going to be really fun to play with. So what we're going to do next, we're going to focus on this hallway, right? Because this is going to go all the way. I think what I want to have happen, maybe, we might use this as like a convenient, like, middle of the map type area. I still want interesting shapes, despite it being humans. And I think the way we're going to do that is... And I'm so paranoid. I spent like half an hour playing with... Hold on. We're fine. Everything's fine. I'm blurry as hell, but we're fine. Sorry. I spent quite a while before the stream refamiliarizing myself with exactly what OBS is. And all of my audio stuff, I went through and like tried to rebalance. And I'm paranoid about having like one of the audio sources muted. But it's fine. We're fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this really long diagonal. And we're just going to do something like this, right? Where we want it to be very inorganic, but like still interesting. And this is going to give us a mechanism to make the map a little bit more spicy to play on. Because what we can do, we can base our leveling around this. So in this wide corridor, right, what do we want? What do we want? Well, what we want is, so in a normal map, what you would want to avoid are these large hallways with nothing, because it gives the player a mechanism to build a whole bunch of nutrient pustules, and maybe they want to place like some hives down and like artillery and whatever. We're going to prevent all of that. This is going to completely change the way maps are made in Buggos. So what we're gonna do, we have this long hallway, which we can do now because of this exploit-ish thing. Um, and so here, we'll make this like 6. I said I wasn't gonna measure things, but I'm addicted to measurements, and they make me feel good. So we're gonna measure that. But here's that. We're going to just leave. We'll do something like this actually, where it looks like a little pillar structure or something. That could be pretty interesting. And then this is going to be sort of like, how do we want to frame this, right? So the player is going to come through and around and down. I want a secondary player house somewhere. And I think that might end up being like here, which doesn't look very far apart, but when you consider the obstacles between them, it's going to make their life hell. And we can increase how much pain and suffering the player is going through on this map with one simple trick that doctors don't want you to know. That's right, we're going, oh, see, this is why I measure things. This is 5. This is 6. You can't win. Anyways, so what we're gonna do, hold on, we're gonna fix this is what we're gonna do, because it's going to drive me nuts. So we know we want the player to also be here, right? We want them to funnel out and around. And the way we're gonna make this really, really difficult for the player, we can manipulate the way the AI will pathfind through things, so that if the player places their pins here, for example, the bug spawning out of here will try to inadvertently go through this pathway, right? We can do little manipulations like that, and it will really stress people out. And I like that. So we're gonna do it. Now what we're gonna do is something a little bit like that. And then we're gonna go into here, place down that. We do want Titans to spawn, but I don't know at what rate. Or not Titans, the weird mech guys. Also interestingly, forgotten, is we have no means of production, but also we have no means of gunning down the player. So what we might do is maybe a little something like this, right? Where the player might try to funnel around, and they can't do it because I said that's mean and you shouldn't. This is gonna be a really tough map because I'm feeling extra sadistic right now. So here's this. And why now we need to figure out why the player is going to go through this tunnel, right? And I think our methodology for that is we're going to require, look, we need the player to go through this area, right? So that way all 4 corridors are being used. You know, we'd almost want to make it here, because the way the AI pathfinding is going to work, they're going to naturally flood through these and not use this one. So if you put it here, there's a chance that some buggos might try to like come around the other side. And then what we're going to do is a little something like this. Now, I'm going to put some solar panels in here. Let me go ahead and do that now before I forget. Anywhere I have little gaps, I'm going to put some solar panels. Just because I can. Let's see. There's a solar panel. Cool. So what are we going to do? We're going to do this. Right? Now, the map objective we're going to set is to destroy all enemy buildings. This is an enemy building, so they're going to have to destroy that. We do face the issue of wasps, which I kind of forgot existed until right now. So that's unfortunate. But what we can do, we have this little corridor. I'm probably going to make it so that maybe something like this, right? Where the player, even if they build wasp here, now we need to remember the way this is going to work, right? All of the sand is going away. That's going to do something very interesting for the map design. So we don't need to worry too much about where the player is placing hives, because we're going to make their life absolute hell when it comes to placements. This is going to be a very difficult map. I still don't know what this guy does. It's probably really good and really useful. but I forgot. So I think this is what spawns little repair guys, right? Who knows? Um, so okay, how do we want the map flow, right? So they're gonna come along here. We don't want this area to be boring, but we equally we want most of the challenge to be over in this area of the map. So how do we make this not boring? I think the obvious solution is landmines, but landmines you can think of more as like a flat subtraction of the player nutrients, where it's kind of like a one-time whatever. We might put like maybe a line of turrets like here, and then maybe we just dot some landmines around like this. What else would we want? We would want probably some housing somewhere. No, we don't believe in housing. Not in my America. So we also, of course, would like this guy, right? I really like the Tesla towers. I don't know why. You know what? I think that's gonna let us place it. I don't need to keep reloading the map. So here we go. Here we have our Tesla tower, which is going to be adequately backed up this time. With our false walls. And so here's that. We have nothing interesting happening here. But what we can do, actually, we can give the player a little bit of leverage in this area so that the player will flow through here on both sides, which we still need to facilitate. So we probably want to do something a little bit like this. And then what would you want here, right? We just have this empty space. We need to give the player the illusion of choice, right? So what we can do is, I think we would want something a little bit like this, where we have another false wall here. Because that gives us that, right? Now, unfortunately, that's just gonna have to be the way it is. And then that makes this a natural formation for us to go ahead and do. So the player, of course, is going to look at the map. They're going to see this little corridor. They're gonna be like, oh, I have to go this way, right? So let's set their pins here. And then secretly, their bugs will try to attack this wall, and it will completely ruin their life. Which is what we want. We like ruining lives here. So from here, this gives the player a convenient way to sort of move troops around, whatever. And then we get to this area, which I'm not really sure what I want to put here. What time is it? I do have to leave. We still have another hour. I got some stuff going on in an hour. And then afterwards, I'll probably come back and either stream Praise Dead, show off some projects I'm doing, or some more Buggo maps, because I keep hyping it up despite not showing it. The way these maps are going to work is like a new frontier has opened in Buggo map making. A frontier I didn't even know I wanted until it happened. So what do we want? What do we want? I guess we would just want yet another line of turrets, like here, right? It's kind of boring. It's kind of plain. Some might even say it's not worth doing, but I'm not one of those people. And you know what? We're gonna place even more landmines. So there is a distinct lack of human units within this region, and that's because they're all going to be coming out of the center area and like a little bit here, but this is a decoy so that the player thinks they're going this way when actually the main threat is here, right? So what we'd want to do it's fine. There's some things happening with the math here that I'm not liking, but it's fine. So what we'd want to do is probably put like a human base here. right? But actually, let me do this. I need to clear the ghosts of the tower away so I can place again. What we'd want. That doesn't place symmetrically. I'm so upset. This is why I map things out. Anyways, we'd want that. We'd want maybe something like this with some flame towers. And this is going to be a pretty hard challenge already. So we have our little builder thing here. I think what we also would want. Sorry, keep forgetting I have beverages. Look at my. Hold on, can you guys see this? I found this at Walmart. It spoke to me, and I was like, man, what a cute little cup. Anyways. So, and I'm so paranoid. Okay, we are actually. The audio is fine. We're fine. It's probably quiet, but that's because I have a quiet voice. We want a builder thing. I keep thinking I've muted myself. Okay, so that's gonna go there. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna keep repairing these as stuff is happening. And we might even want to put a second, like, another false wall here. That'll make it a bit easier, I guess, but it does give the player an option to attack this first. Unless they just fly over the wall with a wasp, which is possible. What do we want now? So, we have this weird geometry happening here, and we don't really have a good answer to that right now. What I'm thinking... What am I thinking? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hate the measurement there. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm screaming internally, but it's fine. We could place this here. I may as well. Sure, whatever. And then what else do we want? So the player can't just. We need to find a way. We need some wasps to be killed. Is what we need. Some wasp blood needs to be spilled on the table, and this is how we're gonna do it. We're going to. So if they don't have wasps, we need to fill this area in to be interesting. But I think most players are running wasps, because they're just good. But maybe they're trying custom maps before beating like the second campaign. They don't have points or something. Who knows? So how do we make this area interesting? Well, oh god, that's interesting. That wasn't the interesting I wanted, but it happened. Anyways, I'm not even breaking the map yet. So what we want is these, right? We are going to make a giant field of these guys. Just so that way any wasps coming through have a bit of a difficult time ruining my day. So that's one. I want to make this look man-made, but I don't want to sit there and measure out everything perfectly. So what do we have now? We could probably do with placing another of these guys right here. As well as... How far do they shoot? I don't remember. I think it's 9 tiles? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they... I want to say it'll shoot out to somewhere around here. I don't remember exactly. And we want to make it so that the player has to walk through this area, right? So that way this little laser guy will shoot them. They'll be dead. Let's see. Okay, I'm pretty sure this will shoot down at least most of the way. I'm not exactly sure. I think for like, I don't know if Will's gonna see this, but I think for a Buggos 2, whenever If I had a wish list, if these guys are being placed in the level editor, if they fired like a single beam real quick just to show me where they're actually, like, they just shoot their beam off once and then like it goes away, just so I can see how far down it's shooting, that would save me so much like counting. Not exactly sure how doable that is. So here's this. We can maybe do something like that. I don't know what I'm gonna shove in this little corner though. You know what we could do? Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Maybe this, just, that's a single house. That's what's gonna live there. Just because I can. So the player, if they don't have wasps, they will need to come up through this way. And this is an opportunity to make their life difficult. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this, alright? Just because. And then, you guessed it, more landmines. And I mean, this is looking pretty decent, honestly, assuming this laser shoots as far as I think it does. They have quite a long range. So we should be fine. So this is where we're gonna do a little bit of craziness. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna save it as illegal 2.bytes, right? So this is the important part. We're gonna boot up Steam. We're gonna go into manage properties, browse local files. This is where all of your maps are saved whenever you build a map in the level editor. This is where they go. So what we're gonna do, you'll see there's a little Notepad++ icon there. I've done some toying around. We're gonna open this up in a text editor like Notepad++. And so this is where we're gonna get a little bit funky with it. So the way the level editing, or the way the game loads in levels, right? We can leave this open. What the game does is, here's a whole bunch of coordinate data. Whenever you load a map, what it's doing is it is going through these lists. It's saying, okay, these coordinates need to be sand tiles, these ones need to be terrain tiles, these ones need to be whatever else tiles, right? That is the way the game is loading up these maps, right? So you can leave this open, and still edit the file itself. And this will make more sense in a second. So here we're seeing human buildings, whatever, right? We're gonna leave that alone. You'll notice it has like 12 at this coordinate, 13, 11 at this coordinate, whatever else. Ignore that. Basically what that's saying is, so like maybe the landmine, for example, right? Landmines might be human building 6, right? So what it's doing is it's saying, oh, human building 12 is here, right? Maybe that's probably like a wall or a solar panel or something, right? So we're gonna ignore the human buildings because we placed these exactly where we want them, and we're just gonna leave them alone. What we want to focus on, you'll scroll down, depending on your map, there might be a lot of scrolling. So here we see bug buildings. Now, the same thing, right? We see bug building 2 is at this coordinate. So bug building 2 is the hive. I forget what 1 is. At one point I checked it out. It might be goo. No idea. So we see bug building, or no, goo is a different thing. Bug building 1, what would that even be? The nutrient pustule? Maybe. So we're gonna leave bug buildings alone. We're gonna leave human buildings alone. Whoops. Debris tiles. So debris tiles are these little bits of rock scattered around the map. You can leave them, you can get rid of them. I like to get rid of them for what I'm doing right now. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna scroll down to the bottom here. You'll see this. There are little braces or whatever. You'll see it'll be rock 3, curly brace open, curly brace close, and then there will be a third curly brace sort of indented inwards. Leave that one alone. It will crash and not load if you delete too many curly braces. You are like actually saving this map. You're playing with fire here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna select all these rocks, and we're gonna hit delete. So you should be left with well, the Streamlabs is making it hard to see, but when you get done, you should be left with one open, one close, and that should be it. It should be quotes value, colon, open, close, right? And that will get rid of all the rock tiles. And we can prove that right now. I'll save my edits to the level file, and we will hit load. And now I'm going to load up the map again. All the rocks are gone. Whoa, what happened? Now we're going to do something even crazier, right? So here we see wall tiles. The wall tiles are the walls. I don't think, well, we can check right now actually. So wall tiles are the human walls. It might also be these meat walls. Let's find out real quick. Who knows? So we're gonna reload. Yeah. So Bug's flesh wall is these guys. So we can go ahead and get rid of those. Just curious. We'll reload it. So now we go into object tiles. This is where it gets interesting. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm using Notepad++. Most editors out there, even Notepad, just regular Notepad, I think has like Control Find, Control Replace option. What you're gonna do, you're gonna double click on this to select terrain_rock. You're going to hit Control F, and you're gonna go to replace. What are we gonna replace it with? We're gonna place it with human_walls. And something really interesting is going to happen. We're gonna hit replace all, because terrain rock is only on this layer and it's only those. So we're gonna hit replace all. We're gonna save that. We're gonna go down to, so after there's a lot of them. This is a long list. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna go down to map tiles. You're gonna see a whole bunch of desert ground. We're just gonna delete all of them. So I'm gonna select all of the desert ground area. There's a lot of it. It's literally like hundreds of tiles. So you're gonna be scrolling for a second. Who the freak is messaging me? Whoever it is not important right now. It's probably someone messaging me about a Minecraft server. I've been really binging the Minecraft lately, specifically Cobblemon. I've played so much Cobblemon. I built a Java utility program to let me automate making quests in Cobblemon because I've been playing it that much. I just was obsessed with it for like months, and it keeps getting better. There's a fishing update coming soon. It's fishing and bees. Right, so here we finally got into the end where it says desert ground. We're going to press delete. And we're left with map tiles, and then you'll see value, colon, open brace, close brace. And that will get rid of all the sand on the map. It's all gone. And then you'll see stuff down here, right? Where you can see I've done some funniness already. So here for the objective name, for example, you can put whatever you want. I like to put I am become Buggos because I'm a loser. And you can also put the description, right? Just because, just why not? It doesn't show up in the game, I don't think. But if you were to load up the level, it would be there. I don't know what image does. I should probably play with that a little bit, but I don't know if we have a good way to load up images through Buggos. Down here, you'll see map height and map width. In my testing, I don't think I was able to figure out, like, those do things, but they weren't doing anything useful. So just leave those alone. It's not, I don't believe that's the bounding box for where you can place things. I think it messes with, like, the camera and stuff, or something like that. I'd have to play with it again. I was mostly just poking around when I did that. So, we've done a whole bunch of things. So what we're gonna do, this is the big reveal. You ready, guys? The map's gonna be completely different. Illegal 2. We'll open it after editing it with the text file. Whoa! What happened? Oh my goodness, guys. Something changed. What is this? Okay. So now it looks like we're in some sort of like deep underground human facility or something. At least that's my headcanon. Importantly, this is very, very important. This is why we're doing it. The player cannot build on these empty void tiles. Whenever a bug dies, it can still produce nutrient goo on that tile, but you cannot build on these tiles. So that leaves some interesting options, doesn't it, as far as map creation goes? Because now, you know, we might give the player a little bit of wiggle room here, for example. So like maybe they can build in their spawn areas, right? We'll let that slide. However, what we are not going to let slide is the rest of the map, right? So what we can do, this makes it so that if the human, if the player is only able to build on certain parts of the map, that makes those parts of the map very valuable. So you're not just gonna spam down nutrient pustules or something all over the map and just completely break the game, right? Now you have to really think and plan out what it is you're putting on these precious, precious tiles. I wish I had found this out like ages ago. This changes everything. Because what we can do is, say like here for example, I'll give them a 4x4 area to build on and nothing else. So we'll make it look a little bit like less crazy or something. Like maybe that, right? Sure. I don't know, hold on. This is nuts. You'll see in a second why I'm saying this is nuts, right? So now what the player has to do here, we'll do a little bit of like making it not look so crazy. Whenever the player is going through this map now, they can't build pretty much anywhere. They need to make it to this objective. It lets me as the map creator make hard objectives where the player has to progress to this point if they have any hope of actually continuing onwards. It makes maps much, much harder. So what we might also do, for example, is on this particular map, maybe what I do is maybe we give the player a little bit of wiggle room here. Maybe they need... So the player is going to advance through here, they're going to advance through here. They're going to get their ass handed to them by whatever's in this. And it's going to be really frustrating and really difficult. What we might do, to reward the player, they can have a precious little bit of sand in the center of this map. Right here, right? And... yeah. That's plenty. That's plenty of sand. So they now need to progress their way into here. They need to go up to this tile, and this is how, because the way the AI in the game works, right? You need to constantly build hives as you're working your way through a map. So this really limits their options, right? And we might put like, oh, maybe we'll be nice. Give them some time. We'll put a little bit down here at the bottom too, right? Not too much, but a little bit. That's a little bit generous, but I'll let it slide. I'm a graceful god. So there's that. So now the player is forced to take the map exactly in the direction that you're trying to make them, right? Oh, whoops. And we're going to go ahead and save this. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So we're going to test this map. And this is where it's going to get really interesting. What time is it? 6:23. So, like for here, for example, right? I'll set my thing here. Oh, how far is that firing down? Okay, it is exactly how far I thought it was. I'm just that good. See? So the player, you know, maybe they're trying to break through here. But these guys are just going to run around. And now this hive is at risk of having these guys flood out and kill them, because the void tiles the way the pathfinding in this game works, as far as I can tell, right, is I think it's just like A-star, and then it's just looking for a collision, right? So terrain has a collision, the wall tiles have a collision, whatever else has a collision, right? So what you get is the player, so the humans can still walk onto the void just fine, so can your buggos, but we can't build there, right? Oh look, they've overrun this hive. How unfortunate. Right? So this just gives us a little bit of wiggle room as far as what we're doing. And I think this is very fun. Now I don't like something. That's a pet peeve thing, I guess. Look, watch, here it comes. That. Anyways. That's just me being stupid, though. What is this? I forget. A Tesla bot. Fast and nimble warbot. I see. These are not what I thought they were. Okay. Because little robot guys only spawn out of the regular guys, I guess, right? Interesting. Anyways, so we're gonna go back to the main menu and load this map up again. But first, we're gonna go into, whenever I'm building map, I like to go through and, so we have 20, oh, let me reset. We have 107, right? I believe whenever I was making the maps originally, I balanced around like 50 or so evolution points. And I think that's a really natural place to balance around. So we know that we want the builder. We know that we want... Goo is going to be our best friend in this. Do we want, say... Okay, wait. We don't want carnivorous floor traps or a waste. What we probably want is... we don't care about influence. Maybe nutrient pustules. It's going to be valuable still. So are spore launchers, right? We don't care so much about artillery, though. Artillery is taking up a lot of precious space that we just don't have. Buildings regenerate health over time. That would be useful, but we're going to have so few buildings that it doesn't matter. So next what we want is maybe like the defender. Or, yeah, it's got to be the defender, right? The defender and also like warriors. So we had 107 to begin with. So we should have like 53 left or something up here. Just to like limit myself a bit. Now we know that warriors are busted. We still have quite a few. Nutrients is going to be the big one, right, on this map. We want health, we want this. What is this? Survival instinct. Oh. We're going to go for this. And we have 3 points left on my artificial limiting. So what we're going to do, we're just going to increase the swarm capacity and then go back. Whenever you are playing custom levels, the evolutions they have in their campaign are the same evolutions they will have when they're testing your map, right? So we're gonna go back to the main menu, and we're gonna load up that map again and see if we have some better luck. I have quite a few. This one was kind of a shitpost, I'm not gonna lie. I just really wanted to build a checkerboard, and figured why not. I got kind of shitposty at the end. So we're gonna open up illegal too, right? We're gonna go ahead and test this again. I always like to at least see if my maps are somewhat beatable. Sometimes I don't care. Right? But now, you know, maybe you want to disable spawning here, for example, right? Who knows? And so we know we want these nutrient guys, right? We're probably going to want at least a couple of launchers to kind of like hold the line a bit. And then maybe also like another hive, right? And then the rest of this is probably just going to be nutrient. And what do we do? I think we're just gonna hold all of our guys right here. So as you can see, right, the goo still spawns on the void, but you know, we can't actually we can't build anything here. I'm clicking so hard, nothing happens. So the player. Oh, you know what it is? I was like, why can't I build here? It is. Oh, you know what? We're gonna need to. Do I care about this wall? You know what? No, this. I'm gonna let the humans go up here. So we're just gonna go for it. We've got some really expensive bugs in our line right now, though. So I don't expect this to go super far. It should be fine. This is definitely beatable, though. Interesting. What time is it? It's 6:30. I think a Praise Dead run usually lasts about an hour, so I don't think I have time for that, but we can maybe make another map. Or I might go through and fix the other map. Who knows? So we're gonna go back to the main menu. We're gonna go to custom levels, editor, and we are going to load up illegal 2, right? And this is gonna be a little capture window, like roughly here, I think. We're gonna upload this to the workshop as we'll just call this like Starship or something, right? It looks kind of like a starship. Sand is fresh. I can't spell. Precious. Favorite. Right. So there's a fun little map. Oh, it's changed. Sure. Anyways, so now we're gonna go into here. Yeah, it's just someone messaging me about Minecraft stuff. How do I go? Is it this? My workshop right here, right? How do I get a shareable link to this? There's a way. I've done this before. Here we go. Copy link address. With some interesting challenge. Right? So there's that. I think, so using this, right? I think my main takeaway as like a sort of map creator is I would almost want, for Buggos 2, I would almost want, assuming we're fighting humans again, right? I would want there to be a terrain type similar to the Void, right? But maybe it has like some sort of like, it's like machine or something. It's just like the humans have built so much machinery in this area that no goo or no buildings or anything can be here, right? Just because it gives map creation another lever to use to manipulate the difficulty of a map. I think that would be really interesting. I wish I had known about this a bit ago. So what we're gonna do now is, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna load up. Hold on. Where's my templates? Templates. Here's a circle. I just have that at the ready. What we want? I just want a Pokeball. I'm in a Pokemon mood. The only reason I'm not playing Pokemon Emerald right now is because I got really into like replacing the shells on various Nintendo things. When I was replacing all the buttons and shell and stuff for my old DS, there's like a little electrical bit I need to take off with my soldering iron, and then like I need to get a new shell to put over it where like I botched it the first time. Otherwise, this stream would not be happening. I would just be playing Pokemon Emerald. So here we have this. We're probably gonna get rid of this circle here. And what are we going to do? We're going to say... Well, we're going to get rid of this. And then... How do you want this map to flow, right? I think what we probably want... I think the obvious answer is putting the player in the center. And then what we would do is something like this, where like there's a few little openings, but it maintains the circular shape. And then from here, we need to think about like, you know what I might do, honestly? I might make it so that there are just like a million human buildings for no reason. Just because I can. Here, let me... Hello? Let me free that area up again. And then we would want something like this. Just so the humans can pathfind. And this is a huge map. So probably something... What we'll do... We'll make each little quadrant of the Pokeball have some unique challenge to it, right? So like, maybe this quadrant is going to be like, just full of units. Just like, a ton of them. Where... Okay, there it is. I found it. So there's that. Okay, so how do you want to chop this, right? So we want the player to be able to choose what quadrants they're attacking into. But we want to maintain the sort of like Pokeball shape, while still giving the map some interest. So how are we gonna do that? Well, I think we honestly just do that. No reason to overcomplicate it, right? It's a thin line. We can even do that, sure. So we're gonna go into here. Just to block the humans in a little bit. And then... Oh, you know what we could do actually? Just have like a wall of turrets. Like that. I think the map objective... We might just make this survive 10 minutes. I am become Buggos. Interestingly, it doesn't actually clear that out. So, okay, if we're gonna make this survive 10 minutes then. We need some way for these humans here to get over to the player, right? And I think the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna make this go all the way up. So I think what's gonna happen, right? The humans are gonna cluster up here quite a bit, but I think the pathfinding thing is going to make it... Oh, you know what? Do I want them to be able to shoot through here? No. Okay, so but the pathfinding thing might make it so if they're trying to path over here. Importantly though, we can just do that. So, okay, if they're gonna survive 10 minutes, I need to make this kind of difficult. So, we need to make this map super duper aggressive. What I could do... if I wanted to be really, really mean, what I could do is this, right? So, whenever humans spawn into a map, they look for the closest valid tile to be pathed onto. They're sort of like walking collision, or however you want to think about it. It doesn't actually matter until they get onto a valid tile. So like here, for example, they're not going to be trapped because they can't stand on these tiles. They're going to walk through the walls and onto here. But the player can only destroy this if they have wasps, which, you know, they probably do, but, you know. I gotta make it somewhat challenging. So we're gonna do the same thing here. Now it does kind of feel like a bit of a waste, as far as we have so much space and it's on a survive map. How do we sort of make this area here be worth targeting, right? I mean, what we could do this, right? We could do something like this, where the player kind of has to flow. So it is the they will look for the closest map tile to go onto. So if I did this, for example, I'm pretty sure there's only one piece of wall here. There's two pieces of wall here. They'll go here instead. Which I guess kind of raises the question, why even have this here? So we might just delete this. And then I need to refresh these tiles. So they're going to have a whole bunch of units coming through here on these sides. We probably then want something like this, right? And then what we can do, I might make the entire northern area just full of units, just like millions of them. And then up here in this area, oh my goodness, help. We're gonna fix that real quick. What are we gonna do? We're gonna take these solar panels and just run them up here. And then what does that do? We probably need, so this is gonna spawn a whole bunch of regular units. I probably would be interested in just having like just this but inverted, right? Right? We're fine. I'm trying to make this symmetric. Help. Oh my goodness. I'm going to explode. This is in line with that. Yes. Yes. Cool. So then what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this, right? And this is just the other side, but flipped around. We're gonna get rid of these. If you ever want to beat any of my maps, just use wasps. I'm pretty sure wasps would help a lot in this map. I just naturally tend to make builds that are inadequate for the threat of a wasp. Because I focus on like lots of little snaky hallways and stuff, and they just go right over the top. How do we... I guess we're just gonna make this symmetric, right? So we just do that. So there's that. And then of course we need these. So how far out is this gonna go? We got 4. And then skip 2 and go there. And then this, right? So there's that. There's going to be so many units going through here that the player won't be able to advance. And if the player tries to flank, I'm going to put these little turrets, right? Where are my turrets? There they are. So what do we want on the bottom then, right? What we probably want is just a million of these. I want the player to be able to build into this area, but I want it to be like a really high cost, you know? Like, I want this to turn into the top of the map versus the bottom of the map. Where what was I doing? These guys, right? Okay, so there's that. I'm gonna do the same thing, but on this side. And then we're just gonna take this through. Which, I mean, the Tesla, are these Teslas? I forget what they're called. These aren't terrible to kill. But I'm also gonna add landmines, because I can. Alright, so the player is going to be able to push into here quite easily, but it's going to be at a really high cost, right? And I might put, like, a human building or two down here that, like, actually spawns units, but this is not going to be the main threat. The main threat's going to be way up here. And then, you know, maybe we'll do something like this with the houses.
She will come out of the lake again. And she must kill us, kill us, kill us, kill us, kill us, kill us, kill us.
Yeah. Cool. So there's that. Now, I think what I would like is, if we're gonna make this a very non-threatening area, I would probably want to put a whole bunch of these solar panels, just to make it like, it's threatening, but not directly, you know? Like, the player's gonna want to go for these. But I need to make them accessible without wasps. Hold on. I'm just so hung up on having wasps right now. Alright, so there's that. That gives us some interesting geometry to use for drawing walls off of. So we could probably do something kind of like this, right? Where we drag these through like that, and then you're getting something like that, right? And that kind of makes me want to go through with these Teslas, right? It's very boring, this section of the map, but I think it's like a necessary evil to give the player any amount of contesting the north. They need somewhere to go hide, and it is not going to be northwards. Oh, whoops. Let me clear that out. Man, my microphone is very directional, and depending on which way, like if I talk this way versus this way, it makes a huge difference, and I feel like I need to be better about that. I'm probably very quiet, intermittently, just based on like how zoomed in I am on the map. Okay, so there's that. We might put like maybe a couple of turrets down here just to help. But we're not going to be like overly worried about defending this bottom bit. And now we get to do the fun part, which is we're going to make this do the same thing as before. We're going to call this like illegal 3. And we're going to go into our text editor, open up illegal 3, and just like before, what we're gonna do, hold on, I'll find it eventually. The bottom happens eventually. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna grab all of this. Oh, it says I'm showing off game development stuff. Forgot to change the stream. Oh well. You know what? It should not be just chatting. I don't know why it defaults to that. Like on my end, it says buggos. I guess I forgot to hit done. Whoops. Anyways. Oh well. I don't pretend to know Twitch. Let's see. So, oh. I'm somewhere. Here we go. Okay, so here's this. We've deleted all the sand. Now I need to go into here. We're going to do our typical find and replace. And that's going to replace all of the terrain with the human wolves. And then we are going to go in to debris somewhere. It's somewhere. It's somewhere. There's bug buildings. Debris tiles. Debris tiles haven't respawned. I think because this map was made before debris existed, it just wasn't there. Which saves us some time. And now, if I load illegal 3. Whoa, the map has changed. And we're just going to do this real quick. We're going to give the player a little bit of area to go around in. Like that. And then, what else? Where do we want this? Remember, so we want this to be where the player kind of like gravitates towards. And I think the way we're going to incentivize that, we're going to give them a little bit of tileage down here. Like this, right? And I'll sort of naturalize the sand in a second. Right, so like, you know, maybe it comes out a little bit like this or something. I don't know, man. Who cares? Right, and then again, so this is what makes it really interesting, right? The player can only build on sand tiles, so I get to kind of choose where the player. My nose is so itchy. Help. I get to kind of choose where the player holds the line, right? So we probably want to give them a little bit of area here on the sides to sort of like form a wall. And, you know, we might make that look like something like this, right? And just to really like frustrate any OCD players, we're going to make these not be symmetric. So do something like this instead. And now they can't just like copy paste the exact same thing over. Just because. So what else, right? So the humans, the player's gonna spawn here. They're gonna push outwards like this and try to like hold the wall desperately. We probably want to give them a little bit of sand along this bottom edge of the map. Like this, just so the what's it called? So they have something to use. And I might even make it so that like, you know, maybe there's a spot large enough for a hive. Like that, right? Something like this. Yeah. And I think this is probably fine. We need to naturalize this, actually. So something kind of like this. What time is it? Okay, we're fine. I'm so paranoid. Okay, so there's that. We're gonna go ahead and save this again. And I think this map is probably good. We don't want the player to build anywhere in the north. This is gonna be where their main threat is. And we don't want to let the player be able to like overcome the threat, right? Like this will just persist here, and they have no real good answer to that other than just attacking it and hoping for the best. Whereas in the south, they can kind of get a foothold as far as what they're doing, right? So what are we gonna do? We are going to sort of center this. We're going to we're gonna hit save. Or no, we're gonna hit upload. We're gonna call this Pokeball, and we're just gonna say, "Help! I'm addicted to." Oh man, ROM hack. And this is a cry for help. Man, I'm so hyped for because you can buy physical cartridges of like. Oh man, that's a bummer. I think it's like there's a few bugs with the editor, and I think this is one of them where like I think it's trying to something to do with like because I've uploaded a map. I think I might need to relaunch the game or something to upload another map. I'm not sure. Something fixes this. Right, but right now we are just trapped at 90% and it's never going to finish uploading. So I'm just gonna Alt F4. Hello? No. Okay. Let's try again. 165 hours. That tracks. We're gonna go into. Well, maybe it did upload. Hold on. It did. We're fine. We're gonna copy this and go to here. And a second somewhat challenging map. Okay, so what is this? Oh, infection free zone is on sale, by the way. If you don't know what that is, check it out. It's really neat. I'm waiting for it to develop a little bit more before I play it. So that is all the time I actually have, though. Because it is almost 7, and I need to go play Stardew Valley with random people from my campus. So, good. How do I stop streaming?